Hi, Kenny here. Thought I would do vlog number 9 on lockdown magnifying lens. Just the usual intro in case this is the first one you're tuning into. This is the 9th in a series of, I guess you could call it inner healing. I've given it the title, the lockdown magnifying lens, because what brought it about was that in this time of lockdown, some of you as believers have been writing telling me it's almost like the being not being distracted, if you can use that word, by work, or being able to go out the house for all sorts of entertainments or even church meetings. You're beginning to see things about yourself that are harming you, and have maybe been harming you and stopping life in all its fullness for quite a while, and even harming others around you, and some of you are feeling bad about that. So we've been trying to look at that whole subject. Where are we actually trying to get to? I think I'm trying to help you, if you're a believer, to get the love of God from here to here, down in our hearts. I can't quite get my heart in there, but I think that's the journey I'm trying to get you, help you to make. And I want to talk today about voices in your head. When I say that, I'm not specifically thinking of those who have to negotiate the terribly difficult territory of mental illness, where that might be a feature of that. I'm actually talking about something that is part of normal health, as it were. We all say things to ourselves about ourselves. And I like to think back, when I sort of speak in this theme or think about this theme, to watching The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with Will Young. And he once phoned up a girl that he was trying to go out with, and he said, "Are your feet tired, baby?" And she was very confused and said, "No, why?" And he said, "Well, they should be, because you've been walking around my mind all day long." I think that some of us have thoughts that have walked around our mind for a long time, and specifically things that we say to ourselves about ourselves. Things like, "There you go, you stupid thing. You always make a mess of it." Things like that. Sentences, thoughts that just go around in our mind. And that can be the cause of struggle. It can be the cause of depression, actually. I think it was Charles Spurgeon's grandfather, of course. Charles Spurgeon suffered severely from depression, and he encouraged Spurgeon to take thoughts out of his mind and dangle them, as it were, before his eyes, and then ask himself, did that thought come from the God who loves me, or did it not? And if it didn't, then Charles Spurgeon's grandfather encouraged them just to kick them out of his mind, to give them neither headroom nor heart room. It's a good solution, but sometimes it's not so easy to do. I would encourage you to try and listen to what the voices that go around your head, the sentences that go around your head, the things you say to yourself about yourself, what are they? I want to be very graphic in a way that some of you might feel is a bit off, but I feel it illustrates what I'm wanting to say. Remember somebody who struggled with a drink problem, and I asked her, I went to see her, and I said, by the time I come and see you in a week's time, I want you to think, what are the sentences that go around your head, the things you say to yourself about yourself? I went back in a week's time, top of the list, "You little shit." And I asked her, "Well, where does that one come from?" And she said, "Well, that's easy. That's what my mother called me. She never referred to me by my name. She just called me, 'You little shit. Come here, you little shit. Get out of my way, you little shit.'" That's a graphic illustration of what I mean. We all say things to ourselves about ourselves. And it's a good idea to try and ask, where did that one come from? Let me share one from personal experience. As long as I can remember, from very young childhood, I had this feeling, I'm not going to make it, I'm not going to make it. And actually I was in my 40s, late 40s, early 50s perhaps, when I actually asked somebody to pray about that. And what they realised was that I'd actually been premature back in the 50s, and maybe that was more dangerous then than it is now, I'm not terribly sure. But I can just imagine the anxiety that must have been around me, spoken over me, in the air as it were around me, just as to whether I was going to make it or not. I was 4 pounds when I was born back in the 50s. And you know, these people prayed about that. And that thought, that was quite a continual thought in my head, you're not going to make it, you're not going to manage. That thought disappeared. And so I want to encourage you in this vlog number 9. What's actually going on in your mind? What thoughts are there? What sentences are there? And can I just encourage you to take time, perhaps even to write them down, and then to ask yourself, now how did that get there? It probably came about through a significant life experience or a significant person in your life, a message that somehow got in there and has been going around, marching around, dancing around, running around, walking around in your mind ever since. And I would encourage you just to follow Charles Spurgeon's grandfather's advice. Take that thought out and dangle it before your eyes and think, now where did that one come from? Did that come from the God who loves me? Did that come from the God who's for me? Did that come from the God who, while the world was still sinning against him, sent his Son to die for us? Did that come from the God who first loves me before I love him? And if it doesn't, then kick it out and ask God to help you to kick it out and to give it neither heart room or headroom. I pray that thought might bless you today. Bye for now.